All right, everyone, we welcome you in. Apologize, we had some technical difficulties here today as we'll get you caught up with what you've missed so far in this one. St. Francis currently trailing 5-1 on the scoreboard. Mount Vernon with 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third. We are in the top half of the 5th inning currently. And Mount Vernon with a 5-1 advantage. 3-run home run in the first, 2-run home run in the third. St. Francis getting its lone run in the bottom half of the 4th inning. And a 2-0 count right now. There are 2 away. The top of inning number 5, our first game of the doubleheader. And the Cougars trying to get through the top half of the 5th. Again, we'll get you caught up with all your stats, everything you've missed up to this point in just a moment. As we continue to go through this top half of the first inning, 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Two-two pitch is found straight back, and we'll do it once again. This one is skied out towards right center field. An in center field catch is made, and that'll bring us to the end of the top half of the 5th inning. We head to the bottom of the 5th, 5-1 on the scoreboard in favor of Mount Vernon. And Mount Vernon Nazarene with those 3 runs in the first inning and able to score as well with 2 in the third. St. Francis getting its lone run in the bottom of the 4th inning, and the Cougars come to bat here in the bottom of the 5th. Again, we welcome you in to Westendorf Field. St. Francis at home for the first time this season and taking on a really good Mount Vernon team who comes in 9-9 on the year. St. Francis 7-5 overall, 3-1 to start Crossroads play this season. And again, we apologize for some technical difficulties getting us underway today, but we should be good to go the rest of the way. And we will have our second game coming up as well once this one concludes. And then tomorrow we're back for 2 more games as well for St. Francis here on the home field. Cougars coming to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning. So St. Francis hitting at 7-5 record. Won 3 other first 4 games in the Crossroads League this season. Haldeshell falls behind 0-2 in the count. So Haldeshell in the 9th spot will be top of the order now coming to bat for St. Francis. It's a strikeout for Sheets and 1 away in the bottom of the 5th inning. Let's get you caught up with what's happened so far in this game. Dakota Staffen homered in the first inning, drove in all 3 runs with Zimmerman and Montalvo scoring, and then Avery Miller with a home run in the third, scoring Staffen. This bunt laid down and foul from Sam Baker. 0-1. Bailey Sheets has been in the circle for the entirety of this game so far for Mount Vernon. 4 innings pitched, 4 1/3 now. She's given up just 1 hit to this point. Does have 2 walks to 1 strikeout. Sheets rocks, delivers. Baker had to lay back on that off-speed pitch, fouled it off, and it's now 0-2. Baker takes. This one misses outside. Count moves to 1-2. Baker 0 for 1 today, does have a walk. She did steal a base as well when she got on back in the third. Baker on the ground, back up the middle and into center field. It's a base hit for Baker and a base runner on board with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Single for Baker. Now Peyton Iliff, also 0 for 1 with a walk today, facing Sheets for the 3rd time as Abby Robakowski is in the hole. First pitch missed from Sheets, ball 1. Runner aboard at first is Baker. We'll see if she's on the move for St. Francis, down by 4. And Baker is taking off here. Throw down to second, and the ball bounced out of the glove of Zimmerman. It's a stolen base for Baker. Was a called strike to Iliff. Count at 1-1. Maddie Minnick scored the only run for St. Francis back in the bottom of the 4th inning. It was 5-0 Mount Vernon, now 5-1, and the Cougars threatening again here in the 5th. 1-1 offering. Down in the dirt to Iliff. Baker out for third, and she's in safely again. Another stolen base for Sam Baker. She jumps from first to second, and on the very next pitch, second to third. Couple of stolen bags for Baker. She's up to 3 in the game, and the count moves to 2-1 on Iliff. Finding ways to scratch across runs. That's what the Cougars need right now here in the 5th. Sheets up high. Count now 3-1. Sheets battles back, finds a strike. Count now full. With Robakowski next, then it'll be Dowd following that. St. Francis with 1 away at the plate, down by 4 in the bottom of the 5th. Sheets payoff pitch is on the ground to third. This is gloved by Miller, but she'll just hold on to it. The result in a fielder's choice, no hit, but no damage done for St. Francis. Runners on the corners as Iliff reaches. Miller just held on to that ball, decided they didn't want Baker to run home there, and it's going to bring out a meeting for Mount Vernon. So Sheets giving up just 1 run to this point, but some trouble on the bases now with runners at the corners for St. Francis. And the head coach, Mark Pratt, will go out and talk with his starting pitcher. Coach Pratt, in his first season at the helm for Mount Vernon, he was an assistant on the staff for the last 12 years. Got the head coaching job this past summer. 3 pitchers mainly in the rotation for Mount Vernon. Nazarene hold about a 5.12 ERA this season. They've struggled with walks at times. 41 walks to 31 strikeouts this season for the pitchers for Mount Vernon. And they're here today following a split with Huntington yesterday. Lost 3-0 in game 1 and then victorious 6-4 in game 2. First home games of the year for the Cougars, and threatening in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing 5-1, but runners at first and third. And looks like we will see a pitching change for Mount Vernon. So we're going to step aside, take a short break. We'll come back here in just a couple of moments. SummitCitySports.com. Glad to be with you here from St. Francis on this Friday afternoon.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcast. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
We're back live here at Weston Dorff Field, 5-1, bottom of the 5th inning. Robakowski at the dish. And a new pitcher in for Mount Vernon as this runs up high, ball 1. And St. Francis swiping bases left and right here. Iliff moves into scoring position with that stolen bag. Dakota Staffen is the new pitcher for Mount Vernon. Rocks delivers. Robakowski holds off. takes a strike, though. It's 1-1. Robakowski 0 for 2 so far today. Did strike out once. She takes above the letters here, 2-1. Bailey Sheets finishes 4 1/3, 3 hits given up. She is responsible for the 2 runners on base. Two-1 to Robakowski. This is on the ground, left side of the infield. They're coming home with it. Throw to the plate. The tag is applied, and Baker is out at home. Put runners at the corners, but 2 away. And nice play there as Montalvo goes home to Lehman. 6-2 on the fielder's choice. Runners on the corners, 2 away. And this brings up Maddie Minnick. Macy Dowd stepping in for St. Francis. Takes first pitch ball, 1-0. Dowd also 0 for 2. RBI opportunity here, though, with runners at the corners and 2 away in the 5th. 1-0 above the letters, 2 balls and no strikes. So Staffen in relief. Junior right-hander from Johnstown, Ohio. Could certainly see her pitch in game 2 as well for the Cougars. That's below the knees, 3-0 on down. Chance to load the bases for St. Francis with Minnick due up next and then Bree Miller. Miller's got the lone run driven in so far for St. Francis. 3-0, taking all the way. A called strike to make it 3-1. Robakowski aboard at first with Iliff over at third. West Indoor Field here in Fort Wayne. A beautiful day for softball at St. Francis. 3-1 pitch, runs up and in. Ball 4. And the base is now loaded for the Cougars. Still 2 down. And now Maddie Minnick steps in. So a chance with one big swing here that Minnick could reset this game. Staffen, first pitch to Minnick. This is lifted down the right field line and just foul. 0-1 count. Would have been trouble into that right field corner. Mielek out there in right. Crum in left, Mickley in center. Miller, Montalvo, Zimmerman, and Mayer around the infield from third to first. Staffen 0-1. Trying to drop one in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. 5-1 Mount Vernon. Bottom of the 5th inning. Bases loaded for St. Francis. 2 away. 3-1 start to the conference season for the St. Francis Cougars, while Mount Vernon is 2-6 in the Crossroads so far this year. This is lifted out into center field. Mickley comes on, makes the catch, and that ends the threat in the bottom half of the 5th inning. We head to the top of the 6th, 5-1 on the scoreboard in favor of Mount Vernon here. SummitCitySports.com. St. Francis to the field and 2 innings remaining in game number 1.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome you back for the top of the 6th inning, and 5-1 on the scoreboard in favor of Mount Vernon Nazarene. 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the third. All 5 runs coming off of home runs for Mount Vernon. A 3-run shot in the first and a 2-run blast in that 3rd inning. 1 run for St. Francis in the bottom of the 4th. We start the top of the 6th. Ellie Souter went 3 innings to start this game for St. Francis. Olivia Fuentes in relief now in the start of her 3rd inning. And a first pitch strike to begin this at bat. Bailey Sheets, who started in the circle 4 1/3 before being pulled in that last inning, and she's out in front of this one. Foul down the third base side, now 0-2. First of 2 games today between Mount Vernon and St. Francis. We'll play 2 more tomorrow as well, with Indiana Wesleyan coming to town. 1 and 3, your scheduled start times for tomorrow. 0-2 pitch, popped up on the infield, right side, and that is down underneath it. 1 away. So Sheets pops out to first, 1 down. Shonda Mielik, junior from Howard, Ohio. Mielik 0 for 2 today. Fuentes looks in, rocks back 1-0, and this is fouled off, and Mielik wishing she had another cut at that one. It's a Mount Vernon team that's certainly gone up and down as this year has gone on. They split with Marion, who's still inside the top 10 in the latest top 25 poll at number 7. But only one other conference win since then, and that was against Huntington yesterday when they split with the Foresters. 2-1 just missed from Fuentes. 3 balls and 1 strike in the top of the 6th inning. Wind blowing out to right field today, and we saw in the first inning Mount Vernon take advantage of that. 3-1, this is roped out towards left field. We're going to 1-hop out in front of Minnick, and a 1-out single for Mielik. Brings up the bottom of the batting order, the 9 spot. Left fielder Brooklyn Crum scheduled to hit for Mount Vernon Nazarene. So the left-handed hitting Crum. Went to lay it down, and no fun behind home plate when you're a catcher and you're always in the firing zone. Iliff has to wear this one. Count moves to 0-1 on Crum. 1 for 2 for Crum so far. Left fielder waits. Fuentes rocks. 0-1 pitch. Shot down the left field line, and this is out of play at 0-2. Mielik aboard at first. Top of the order lurking for Mount Vernon Nazarene. The shortstop Montalvo due up next. Oh, 2 just missed up the ladder. 1 ball and 2 strikes. St. Francis, Minnick, Vigiano, and Miller from left to right. 1-2, off speed, little dribbler, right side of the infield. Fuentes on to Dowd at first. 2 away. Runner moves up to second on the fielder's choice. And back to the top of the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Montalvo, the lefty, with an RBI opportunity. First pitch swinging. Montalvo scored in the first on that 3-run home run from Dakota Stafford. Count evens up, 1-1. Runner aboard at second, 2 away, top of the 6th. Mount Vernon Nazarene trying to add on to its 4-run advantage. St. Francis trying to keep the score right where it's at, give themselves a chance here with 6 outs to play with. It's a pop out to second, and the inning comes to a close. in the top half of the sixth. We move to the bottom of the sixth inning, and Mount Vernon Nazarene with a 5-1 lead. St. Francis coming to bat. Bree Miller will lead things off when we return to Westendorf Field.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
But I think it's all right now. 5-1, Mount Vernon Nazarene leads St. Francis as we welcome you back for the bottom of the sixth inning. Bree Miller scheduled to lead things off. 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order for St. Francis. Trailing 5-1 as Miller takes the first pitch up in the zone, ball 1. Staffen fires, Miller takes, and she's ahead 2-0. Just looking for a little late magic for St. Francis here in game number 1 of the doubleheader. Got underway about 2:50 with this first game, so a little bit over an hour and 20 minutes into this one. Miller has the lone RBI for St. Francis. Came back in the 4th inning. That's the lone run on the scoreboard for the home Cougars. 2-1. Miller popped it up. Left side of the infield. And there's one away as Montalvo squeezes it. Miller pops out, one away, and that brings up Courtney Serber, designated player for St. Francis. And then Vigiano will follow, trying to spark something late in this game. First pitch down low, ball 1. Serber 1 for 2 on the day. One of the 3 hits in this game for the Cougars. 4 hits. As this is on the ground to third and over to first base in time. 5-3 for out number 2. 5 runs on 4 hits for Mount Vernon Nazarene. No errors defensively. St. Francis 1 run, 3 hits. And they have committed an error defensively in this one. 2 down, nobody aboard for Lena Vigiano. Hitting from the left side is Vigiano as she awaits her first pitch from Staffen today. Up high in the zone, ball 1. Staffen coming in relief after Sheets went 4 1/3. Got into a little bit of trouble. And Staffen with a clean sheet here in the 6th. Right back to her. She goes on to first, and we are headed to the top of the 7th in game 1. Mount Vernon Nazarene, 5 runs on 4 hits. And the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene leading St. Francis 5-1 as we head to the top of the 7th here on SummitCitySports.com. We'll take a 30-second pause and come back with more action from Westendorf Field right after this.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Top of the 7th inning, Mount Vernon Nazarene 5, St. Francis 1. And first pitch swinging. This is lifted in the air to left field, going back. And the catch is made for the first out. Minnick grabs onto it. One away in the top of the 7th as Zimmerman flies out. Fuentes in relief looking for 4 scoreless innings. 3 1/3 scoreless up to this point. Now the pitcher, Dakota Staffen, who started in the designated player position for this game. Jumps ahead in the count, 1-0. Wind blowing towards right field in this game. It's been intermittent in between. Fuentes unable to find the zone now, 2-0. Staffen and then Mayer. A power hitting combo in the middle of this Mount Vernon lineup. Staffen takes, and it's 3-0. Staffen coming into this game with 4 home runs, hit her 5th home run back in the first inning. She's now tied with Mayer for a team high 5 homers. This is on the ground over to third. Robakowski on to first, 2 away. Had the green light swinging there on 3-0. And Staffen grounds out to third. 2 quick outs in the 7th. And now Kira Mayer scheduled to hit. She will hit. The senior out of Ohio, and Watkins Memorial High School stands in. Mayer really the leader in the clubhouse in terms of overall power for Mount Vernon Nazarene. She splits the hole on the left side here. And a 2-out single for Mount Vernon Naz. That brings up Avery Miller. Miller with a home run, her 2nd of the season. And takes the first pitch strike, 0-1. Fuentes has been nearly perfect in relief here for St. Francis, keeping them in the game when she came in to begin the 4th inning, and she's a strike away from going 4 scoreless frames to finish out this game in relief. Collect herself before this 0-2. Fires, this is on the ground to short. Over to first in time. How to sell over to Dowd, and that is the 3rd out of the top half of the 7th. Last bats coming up for St. Francis, and the Cougars coming to the plate. The 9 spot in the batting order. We'll see if St. Francis can get it done. Looking for the late spark here in game 1. Mount Vernon leading 5-1. SummitCitySports.com.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
That's what I use to keep my car.
Yeah. This is the Bob Carpenter scorebook.
Bob Carpenter?
Yeah, I used to do games for the Orioles and Nationals.
I have these if you ever want them.
Yeah. Bottom of the 7th, 5-1. Mount Vernon Nazarene leading St. Francis. First game of the doubleheader here at Westendorf Field. Our second game scheduled to begin approximately 5 p.m. We might start a little bit sooner than that. Depends on how this first one finishes off. And first pitch ball to begin the bottom of the 7th. Up in the zone, and now 2-0. Maddie Brady, freshman out of Columbia City High School, batting in the 9 spot for St. Francis here in the 7th. First at bat of the day. She swings through this pitch from Staffen to make it 2-1. 1 run on 3 hits for St. Francis, 1 error defensively. Mount Vernon, 5 runs on 5 hits. And Brady now ahead, 3-1 in the count. Top of the order lurking for St. Francis. 3 outs to work with, trailing by 4. 3-1. Brady backed out. Watch ball 4. And the St. Francis Cougars have a runner aboard in the bottom of the 7th, a leadoff walk for Brady. And they will send Howdeshell back into the game after that walk for Maddie Brady. Now Sam Baker back at the top of the batting order for St. Francis with Howdeshell running at first. Infield in on the corners right now, expecting a bunt potentially from Baker. She pulls it back, and they'll snap back throw to first base. Howdeshell is back in time. It's a 1-0 count on Baker. Staffen, an inning and 2/3 pitched up to this point. She'll need 2 2/3 to try and get the save today. Baker ahead 2-0. 1 for 2 for Sam Baker. Also has drawn a walk in this game. 2-0 is up high, goes to the backstop, and Howdeshell will move up 60 feet to second. And Baker now ahead 3-0. And Mount Vernon, they want to talk some things over here as Staffen will go out, or rather Lehman will go out and meet Staffen in the circle, and Baker will have a quick conversation with Iliff, who's due up next. St. Francis trailing by 4, all 5 runs for Mount Vernon coming via the long ball. 3-run homer in the first, 2-run blast in the third. Miller driving in the lone run for St. Francis in the 4th inning. 3-0 on Baker. Turned to bunt, took a called strike. 3-1. Certainly we saw a little bit difference than what you normally see in the top half of this inning. Usually 3-0. You're taken all the way. Staffen had the green light for Mount Vernon. Baker with her team down 4. Going to stay patient. She'll draw the walk. And St. Francis has its first 2 runners aboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning, both via the walk. And it's Peyton Iliff with Robakowski due up next. Game's potential tying run. It's waiting in the on-deck circle. And a little bit of a struggle right now for Staffen to find the zone. It's 1-0. Baker at first, Howdeshell at second. Bottom of the 7th, 1-0. Iliff takes 1-1. Iliff popped it up on the infield. This will be an infield fly, and the batter is out. There is 1 away. One down for Abby Robakowski. St. Francis down to its final 2 outs here in the first game. Again, this is the first of 2 today. We'll have your second game coming up about a half hour after this one concludes. Staffen misses low on the first pitch. Robakowski still searching for her first hit here in game 1. Minnick has had the hottest bat. She's 2 for 3. She's 2 batters away right now. Robakowski takes a strike, and we're even 1-1. Baker at first, Howdeshell at second. 1-1, Robakowski taking, and back ahead, 2-1. Dowd, then Minnick, trying to keep the line moving for St. Francis in the 7th. Staffen, 2-1. Robakowski on the ground, left side of the infield. It's through into left field, and that loads the bases for the Cougars, and the game's tying run here in the 7th inning coming to bat in the form of Macy Dowd. Be a single for Robakowski. And we may see a change for St. Francis potentially in the base running department. And we do have a new base runner. Lillian Pierce will replace Robakowski on the base paths. Another meeting in the circle for Mount Vernon Nazarene and trying to go through the scouting report with Macy Dowd and then Maddie Minnick. Dowd walked her last time up. Minnick's 2 for 3 on the day. And St. Francis with its best opportunity to strike for multiple runs in this game. They got that run in the 4th inning, and they've had to work at the dish today to get to this point. But the game's tying run stands in for St. Francis in the bottom of the 7th with 1 down. And Macy Dowd, a chance to deliver a huge at-bat for the host Cougars. Staffen looks in. We are ready to go once again. Lean fire. First pitch to Dowd is low. Ball 1. And nowhere to put anybody. Howdeshell at third. Baker at second. Pierce is the runner aboard at first. 1-0 to Dowd. Up high. 2 balls and no strikes to Macy Dowd. Senior from Yorktown. Went to Yorktown High School, really good high school softball program in the Muncie area. 2-0, Dowd taking, that is a called strike. They'll snap throw to third, and Howdeshell is back in safely. Lehman has been on her P's and Q's behind home plate, not afraid to throw behind runners at any moment. Base is full, 2-1. Dowd on the ground, left side of the infield. This one kicked off the third baseman's glove. Baker's going to score with Howdeshell. 2 runs are in for St. Francis, and it's 5-3. That one just kicked off the glove of Miller. And St. Francis continues to battle. Pierce up to second. Baker and Howdeshell both score. And now the game's tying run. Maddie Minnick digs in. And we'll see another runner out for St. Francis. Jermez will go out and run. Another RBI opportunity for the Cougars of St. Francis. Maddie Minnick stands in. It's 5-3. And she is the game's winning run. Runners at first and second. Staffen has given up her first 2 runs of the game here in the 7th. First pitch is off speed and fouled down the third baseline. 0-1. Bree Miller would be next. And then potentially Courtney Serber if the line continues to move. Staffen's 0-1. Just a little bit high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Really tough pitch to take. Miller pulled it back, and now she's ahead 2-1. One away, bottom of the 7th. Game's winning run at the plate, and she's hit. Loads the bases for St. Francis. Still just 1 out, and now the game's winning run is aboard. Standing at first, the game's tying run now at second base. And Bree Miller coming to bat. Miller 0 for 2 on the day, but does have 1 of the 3 runs driven in for St. Francis on a sacrifice. Base is full. Staffens 1-0. Miller taking, and she's ahead 2-0. And this St. Francis dugout, as loud as it has been in this game. Miller takes, and she's ahead 3-0. Patient approach at the plate, and now you would have to think it's red light here on 3-0 with the bases loaded, but you never know. You could get a great pitch to hit. 3-0 offering. Miller taking all the way, drew the walk. And it is just a one-run deficit now for St. Francis. Game's tying run is at third. Game's winning run is at second. That is the third walk of the inning. There's also a hit by pitch in this frame. 3 walks, 1 hit batter, 2 singles. And Mount Vernon Nazarene is going to go back to its starting pitcher. Bailey Sheets is going to come back in this game to try and finish it off. Sheets 4 1/3 up to this point. She's pitched the first 4 1/3 of this game. Got removed for Staffen to come in and try and finish it off, but Staffen gets into some trouble here in the 7th, and St. Francis has the bases loaded with just 1 away. The game's tying run, 60 feet from scoring. The winning run is aboard at second. And the Cougars coming to bat, Courtney Serber. A chance to walk it off for St. Francis. Minnick is the winning run aboard at second. First pitch taken for a strike, 0-1. Serber 1 for 3 today. A hit here could walk it off for St. Francis. 0-1 from Sheets. Serber's out in front of it. Waves through 0-2. Lena Vigiano scheduled to hit next. She would be the 9th batter of the inning for St. Francis. 0-2. Serber on a line to short. They get 1. Throw to third is not in time. 2 away. The line out from Serber, and it brings up Vigiano with the bases loaded. 2 down. Game on the line for St. Francis here. It has been a ferocious comeback from the Cougars. Vigiano takes first pitch, ball 1. 4 runs on 5 hits for St. Francis. I had just 1 run on 3 hits through the first 6 innings. Vigiano takes an off-speed pitch, is in for a strike. We're even at 1-1. Bases full for the St. Francis Cougars. Mount Vernon trying to skate through trouble in the 7th. Final out to get. But a base hit could walk it off for St. Francis. 1-1 to Vigiano. Just missed it. 2-1 the count. Howdeshell would hit next. Got pinch hit for by Brady at the beginning of this inning. 2-1. Vigiano taking up the ladder. 3 balls and 1 strike on Lena Vigiano. Nowhere to put her if you're Sheets. A walk ties the game. 3-1 pitch. Vigiano takes ball 4. We are tied at 5. A 4-run 7th inning for St. Francis. And Howdeshell is going to come up to bat with a chance to win it for the St. Francis Cougars here in the 7th inning. Four runs in the 7th. And Howdeshell becomes the 10th batter of the inning. And this game is either going to be won here in this at-bat or we're going to play extras. Bases loaded. 2 away. Sheets' first pitch is down low, ball 1. And the pressure all of a sudden has turned to Mount Vernon's end. Trying to find the zone right now. 1-0 to Howdeshell. Swinging, popped up, left side, gonna stay in play. Catch is made, and we are headed to extra innings. But St. Francis, a ferocious comeback in the 7th. They score 4 runs in the 7th to force us into extra as we head to the 8th inning, all tied up at 5 between the Cougars and the Cougars. Mount Vernon, Nazarene, and St. Francis will continue with extra innings here. College softball. The Crossroads League returns in 30 seconds here on SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Fuentes back in the circle for St. Francis as we move to the top of the 8th inning. Extra innings in this one. St. Francis held to just 1 run through the first 6 frames, but 4 runs in the 7th to tie this ball game up. And we are ready to go with the top of the 8th inning. Lehman, first pitch swinging, a backhand at second by Baker, on to first. 1 pitch, 1 out for Fuentes here in the 8th. And now the pitcher, Bailey Sheets, try to help her own cause. Did have to do some damage control in that 7th, but couldn't do enough to get Mount Vernon the win. Instead, we're into extras. Count 1-0 on Sheets as Fuentes has just been spectacular in relief today. 4 1/3. She's given up just 2 hits, 1 walk. This is on the ground to the left side of the infield. Howdeshell with a long throw to first, and it's not in time. Sheets able to beat it out. Infield single for Bailey Sheets. 1 on, 1 away. And it'll be Mielik in the 8th spot for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Live from Westendorf Field here at the University of St. Francis. And got a pinch runner potentially coming in to replace Sheets. And now we'll double check on that just to be sure. Sheets already came out of the game and then was reinserted into the contest. So it looks like they will not run for Sheets because of that. So Shonda Mielik with a runner at first and 1 down in the top of the 8th inning. Mielik, first pitch, strike 0-1. Right-hander Fuentes fires in, little dribbler third base side and foul. Count 0-2. Big spot for Mount Vernon Nazarene. They led all game from the start, from the top of the first until the last out of the 7th, and St. Francis tied it. It's a 1-2 count. Fuentes peers in, rocks back and fires. It's popped up on the infield. This is going to be interference as Sheets was trying to go back to first and Dowd was trying to go out and make the play. Catch was made by Baker anyway. for the second out. And Dowd says, she's peachy? Okay, thank goodness. Not fun when you run into somebody that's got a helmet coming down the first base side, and that was the bigger worry, is helmet towards the face of Dowd, but she's okay, good to go. Baker made the catch, so it didn't matter on the interference part. There are two down. First pitch misses, ball one from Fuentes to Crump. Crum grounded back to Fuentes in her last at-bat in the sixth. Off speed, trying to nibble at the outside corners, missed away, 2-0. There is a right-hander throwing in the Mount Vernon Nazarene bullpen. Mackenzie Delaney up and throwing, the freshman. This is on the ground to first. Dowd takes it to the bag herself, and St. Francis will come to bat for the first time today in a tie ball game and a chance to walk it off here in extra innings. Bottom of the eighth, and we'll continue with more softball after this. SummitCitySports.com live here from St. Francis. Cougars needing one run in the bottom of the eighth.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Bottom of the eighth inning, and again, for the first time today, St. Francis comes to bat in a tie ball game. It was 3-0 when they came to bat for the first time here in game one. We are tied at 5. Top of the batting order, Sam Baker leading things off. St. Francis just needs one run. Sheets is still in the circle. And a first pitch strike to Baker. 5-5 on the scoreboard. Got a plethora of games across the Crossroads League today. We'll try to get you up to date on some of those scores in between contests. Baker taking low, and the count evens up 1-1. Well, Sheets has thrown 5 innings for Mount Vernon Nazarene, the other 2 for Staffen. Baker lays off, but it's a called strike. 1-2. Sheets gets her grip. 1-2 to Baker, and she chased it up in the zone. It's a strikeout for Sheets. 1 away. And now Peyton Iliff with 1 down. 5 innings, now 5 1/3 for Sheets. 4 hits. Just 1 run. It was earned. And a first pitch strike to Iliff, 0-1. 3 walks and 3 strikeouts for Sheets. 0-1 to Iliff is up in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike. St. Francis just needing 1. Off speed. That just missed to Iliff. 2-1. Top of the batting order right now. Again, the freshman Delaney is warming for Mount Vernon Nazarene in the bullpen. 2-1 pitch. Healthy cut. Iliff got a piece of it. Fouled it back. It's 2-2. St. Francis is down 5-1. Going into the bottom of the 7th, they tie it up with 4 runs. Couldn't get that 5th run to get the win, but now any big hit could walk it off. Two upstairs, 3-2 on Iliff. Just trying to get a runner on base for St. Francis, and then maybe you see him in motion. Sheets. Payoff pitch. Up high, ball 4. Iliff, great at bat. She draws the walk, and she is the winning run. Now aboard at first. It's the 5th walk by this Mount Vernon pitching staff over the last 2 innings. Robakowski, first pitch high, ball 1. One of the top returners for St. Francis, a second-team All-American last year. Hit above 500 during the season a year ago. Count evens up 1-1 to Robakowski. Singled and scored in the 7th, part of that 4-run 7th inning. Iliff aboard at first. 1-1 pitch. Robakowski lays off, and she's ahead 2-1. Mount Vernon, 500, 9-9 overall this year. Robakowski on the ground towards the right side of the infield. Zimmerman will pick it up, flip to first. 2 down. Runner moves up to second. And it brings up Macy Dowd. Again, chance to win it for St. Francis. Outfielders, a pretty normal depth, maybe a touch in. Iliff aboard at second. The game's winning run. Sheets, first pitch to Dowd. Ball 1. Dowd picked up 2 RBIs in the 7th. 1-0. Just a little bit below the knees off the outside corner. 2-0. Iliff at second. Sheets, 2-0 pitch. And found the zone to make it 2-1. Now a second game between these two teams about a half hour after this first one concludes. 2-1, Dowd with a piece. And now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Iliff at second, 2 away in the 8th. 2-2, Dowd in the air, out towards right center field. It drops! And St. Francis is going to walk it off. As that one fell in between defenders, Dowd delivers the game's winning hit. And St. Francis is able to walk it off in game 1. That Bermuda Triangle out in right center field, where your second baseman's going out, your right and center fielders are coming in, and if you don't have somebody screaming for that ball, there's a good chance it could fall in like it just did. And St. Francis grabs the win in game number 1. A comeback effort for the Cougars as they take down Mount Vernon Nazarene. 6-5 is your final score. Don't go anywhere. We'll get you ready to go for game number 2 here in just a couple of moments. SummitCitySports.com. Glad that you are with us. 6-5, your final score. St. Francis takes game 1 of the doubleheader in extra innings. We welcome you back in for the start of game number 2 between Mount Vernon Nazarene and St. Francis. Battle of the Cougars here in the Crossroads League, as it was a 6-5 final in game 1 in 8 innings in favor of St. Francis. Mount Vernon Nazarene led 5-0 in the game but could not finish it off. And now we get ready for our second game of the day. Mount Vernon Nazarene at the plate. It's Montalvo to lead things off. Haley Schott with a first pitch. And we are underway from Westendorf Field. Our start time for game number 2, 5:13 p.m. And we are ready to go as Haley Schott is in the circle out of Leo High School. Part of a long, storied program of Leo softball. This is fouled down the first base side to make it 0-2. Schott getting the start here in game 2 after we saw another Leo pitcher, Ellie Souter, get the start in game 1. Both Schott and Souter juniors here at the collegiate level. Go around defensively for St. Francis. Minnick in left, Vigiano in center, and Pierce in right field. Robakowski at third, Serber at short, Baker at second, Dowd at first. Iliff catching once again as Schott's pitch is rolled on the ground to short. Serber to first, just in time to get Montalvo one away. Montalvo, Zimmerman, Staffen, top 3 in the batting order for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Mayer, Miller, Delaney after that with Lehman, Mielek, and Crum, 7, 8, and 9. Not a lot of changes for Mount Vernon from game 1 to game 2. Not a ton of changes for St. Francis either. First pitch ball, 1-0 is the count to Zimmerman. Skylar Zimmerman, South Webster, Ohio. Mount Vernon Nazarene now 9-10 on the year. This is foul, first base side. 9-10 on the year, 2-7 in the Crossroads League. St. Francis 8-5 now on the season after the win in game 1. And the Cougars have gone 4-1 to begin the season in the Crossroads. Just off the mark. 2-1 count. On the ground, nice play at short to keep it in the infield, but able to reach first base is Zimmerman. Zimmerman collects the first hit of the day for Mount Vernon Nazarene. One away, one on, and that'll bring Staffen to the plate. And this is foul down the third base side. Schott jumps ahead, 0-2. Runner aboard at first, one out here in the first inning. Heads up in the dugout over there. Stay on your toes when you're standing in the batter's box, as Staffen was trying to protect. And you're just getting a little bit of a jump scare if you're not paying attention over there. Just missed. 1-2 now on Staffen. And her 5th home run of the season in that first game. Tied with Kira Mayer for the team high in home runs with 5. Iliff keeps it in front of her. Zimmerman aboard at first. 2-2 count. Shot, pitch. This is on the ground through the hole into right field. And a one-out single in the second hit of the first inning for Mount Vernon Nazarene. 2 on, 1 out, and that brings Kira Mayer to the dish. Schott getting the start in game 2. You would expect us to see Alexa Huth at some point in this second game for St. Francis. Little dribbler left side of the infield. Robakowski with a nice play on to first. 5-3 on the putout. 2 down. Runners move up to second and third with those 2 outs. And a chance to get out of the first inning here for Haley Schott without any runs coming across. She'll face Avery Miller. First pitch to Miller. Takes a strike, going 1. And just an absolutely beautiful day for softball here in Fort Wayne. This is on the ground towards third. It is just foul. Count now 0-2. Zimmerman and Staffen each with singles. They're aboard at second and third with 2 away. Top of the first inning. Mount Vernon scored 3 of their 5 runs in the first inning of game 1. St. Francis ended up victorious 6-5, the final score. 0-2 pitch. Back up the middle and into center field. Going to score at least 1. And it'll be just 1. RBI single for Miller. And once again, Mount Vernon Nazarene is on the board first. Zimmerman scoring. Staffen goes up to third base. Runners on the corners with 2 down. And now pitcher versus pitcher here as Delaney ahead 1-0. Mackenzie Delaney was warming up late in that first game. They never went to her. Ahead 2-0 now. But obviously the expectation was we were going to see her at some point today. She begins the second game in the circle. Schott trying to limit the damage to just 1. It'll be at least 2. Another good hit for Mount Vernon Nazarene. And the 4th hit already. RBI single for Delaney. And the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene doing what they did in the first inning of game 1. That's putting runs on the board. First and second, 2 outs, and 2-0 to begin for Mount Vernon Nazarene. First pitch ball, 1-0 to the catcher Lehman. Camden Lehman, a sophomore from California out of Mission Hills High School. One of the only non-Midwest players on this Mount Vernon roster. Pretty much all of the Mount Vernon roster is from Ohio, the exception of their catchers. Craven is from Michigan, and then Lehman from California. 2-1 count between Schott and Lehman. Mielik would hit next. This is down low, and it's now 3-1. A busy top half of the first inning. And the count is run full between Schott and Lehman. Schott looking in. Payoff pitch. Runners on the move. This is right back to her in the circle. She'll go on to first. And that retires the side in the top of the first inning. We move to the bottom of the first. And Mount Vernon Nazarene with 4 hits in that opening frame. They get 2 runs. We'll return with more softball. And St. Francis coming to bat right after this here on SummitCitySports.com.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
Bottom of the first inning, and St. Francis coming to bat for the first time in game number 2. Let's run through the batting order for St. Francis. Sam Baker, Peyton Eiliff, and Abby Robakowski, top 3 in the order once again. We've also got Macy Dowd and Maddie Minnick, as well as Bree Miller. Top 6 unchanged for St. Francis and Coach Bolin. Haley Schott, the pitcher, batting 7th. Serber is 8th, and then Pierce in the 9th spot. As we get the bottom of the first inning going, Baker takes the first pitch, strike 0-1. Delaney gets the start in the circle for Mount Vernon Nazarene. The freshman right-hander misses up the ladder, 1-1. Baker, when she did get on base in that first game, really used her wheels. Let's see if she can here. Nice play at short. Montalvo on to Mayer. 1 down on the putout, 6-3. One down, Peyton Eiliff. First pitch called strike, 0-1 to Eiliff. Batting in that 2 spot. St. Francis took them a while to get going in that first game. Only scored 1 run through the first 6 innings. But 4 runs in the 7th and the game-winning run in the 8th to walk it off in extra 6-5. Wind blowing out to right field still. 1-1 pitch, healthy cut from Eiliff. And it's now 1-2. 1-2 delivery. Eiliff takes just off the plate, 2-2. Two to Eiliff, spoils it, stays alive. And again, for St. Francis, you'd like to just see the Cougars get going a little bit earlier in this game than we did in game 1. 2-2 pitch, bounces into Eiliff, and the count is full on the St. Francis catcher. Robakowski waiting on deck. 3-2 from Delaney. Eiliff sends it into left field on a line and directly at Crum. Really well struck. Probably one of the best hit balls of the day, but it was directly at Crum in left. There are 2 away. Two down for Abby Robakowski. Nobody aboard. First pitch ball, 1-0. Glad to be back here at St. Francis for softball. It's a 1-0 count. As Robakowski waits, Delaney fires and misses. Certainly this is somebody who the Crossroads League knows they've got to be picky with. You cannot give her something to hit. She just tears the cover off the softball consistently. 2-0. And it is 3 balls and no strikes between Robakowski and Delaney. Cleanup hitter Macy Dowd, the first baseman, waits next. Robakowski taking all the way, takes a strike to make it 3-1. 3-1. Robakowski lifts this one out into right center field. Got some carry to it. Clears the scoreboard. This is gone. Home run for Abby Robakowski. And St. Francis is on the board in the first. On the solo shot from Robakowski. Check out the replay here, and this one just great lift to it. And the solo home run, and St. Francis on the board here in the first. As we take you back to live action here. First pitch strike to Macy Dowd, 0-1. Dowd takes off the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. So the first hit for St. Francis off of the freshman pitcher Delaney. It's a home run for Robakowski, her 4th of the young season. Dowd ahead in the count now, 2-1. So 11 runs in 8 innings in our first game. 3 runs in the first to begin game 2. 3-1. And Minnick fouls it back, up and out of play. Count is full between Delaney and Dowd, with Minnick due up next. Miller in the hole. Bottom of the first inning. 2-1 start for Mount Vernon. (3-2). Dowd in the air out towards left field. Crum coming on, and she'll make the catch to end the bottom of the first. An inning complete here at St. Francis in game 2. Solo home run for Abby Robakowski, and a 2-1 Mount Vernon Nazarene lead as we move to the top of the second inning.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Top of the second inning, first pitch swinging, and it's right at Baker. 1 pitch, 1 out for St. Francis in the top of the second. A shot gets the pop out. Now that brings up the 9 spot in the order. As Brooklyn Crum takes the first pitch, ball 1-0. So already top of the order lurking once again for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Good spot and a strike for shot, 1-1. The wind is playing to the hitters as this one gets through on the right side of the infield. It's a single for Crum. And back to the top of the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene. And Montalvo in the leadoff spot. 2 runs, 5 hits already for the guest Cougars in this game. This one on the ground, back up the middle. Baker's going to get one at second, on to first, in time! 6-3 double play, or 4-3 double play, as Baker turns it on her own. And St. Francis with two quick outs to end the top of the second, flying through the top half of that second frame, and Baker turns it herself with a double play. Cougars of St. Francis coming to bat when we return here on SummitCitySports.com, heading to the bottom of the second.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Minnick, Miller, Schott, 5, 6, and 7 in the batting order, due up for St. Francis as we welcome you back here, SummitCitySports.com, getting ready for the bottom of the second inning. If you missed our first game, and we do apologize for the technical difficulties early on in Game 1, it was a 6-5 winner for St. Francis in extra innings over Mount Vernon Nazarene. First pitch swinging for Minnick is through the hole on the left side, and we'll give her a leadoff double as Minnick, aggressive, running the bases, picks up 2 bags here. And immediately a runner in scoring position for St. Francis in the bottom of the second. Bunt laid down by Miller. Only option is to go to first, and a successful sacrifice bunt from Bree Miller moves Maddie Minnick up 60 feet. One down, and now the pitcher, Haley Schott, trying to help her own cause here. First pitch is a called strike, 0-1. Tying run over at third. Count evens up, 1 ball and 1 strike to Haley Schott. Courtney Serber, the shortstop, due up next, and then Lillian Pierce to follow. 1-1 off speed, shot out in front of it. Now 1-2. It was one of those pitches where you just shake it off, move forward to the next one. It's so tough about this game, the mental aspect of trying to move yourself on after every single pitch. 1-2, and cut on and missed by Schott. 2 away on the first strikeout for Delaney. And now Courtney Serber with that tying run aboard at third. First pitch ball to Serber, 1-0. Looks like Staffen is again up and throwing in the Mount Vernon bullpen. So we could potentially see her for the second time today. She pitched in relief in Game 1. Serber takes. We're even, 1 ball and 1 strike. Leadoff double for Minnick. Miller with a sacrifice bunt to move her over to third. St. Francis trying to capitalize with the runner at third base. 1-1. Serber ahead, 2-1. So a reminder, St. Francis fans, we'll be back here tomorrow. We will have 2 more games against Indiana Wesleyan. And then the Cougars will head to Grace. This one floated out towards center field, just kept up in the air long enough for Mielek to make the catch. And that ends the threat in the second. To the top of the third we go. It's 2-1. Mount Vernon Nazarene leading St. Francis here at our second game of the doubleheader. SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Top of the third inning, Mount Vernon Nazarene, 2 runs on 5 hits. St. Francis with a run on 2 hits here in the early going. Coming to bat for the Cougars, the visiting Cougars today. 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order, starting with Zimmerman, who singled and scored back in the first. Shot, first pitch, and this is sent out towards left field. Long way to go towards the corner, and this is going to be at least 2 bases for Zimmerman. She'll pull up and stay put at second. A leadoff double, though, for the second baseman, and now 2 for 2 for Zimmerman with a single and a double in this second game. Skylar Zimmerman, utility player and sophomore out of South Webster High School in Ohio. Again, everybody on this roster for Mount Vernon Nazarene comes from Ohio with the exception of their 2 catchers. Taryn Craven, the freshman, who we've not seen so far. He's a freshman from Fenton, Michigan, and then Camden Lehman, the catcher currently. We've seen him both games out of California. Everybody else from Ohio. This one off the end of the bat, lifted out towards left field, and foul. 1-1. Leadoff double for Zimmerman. Got the double play that ended the last inning. Baker doing it herself. 2-1 count on Staffen, designated player at least to begin this second game. This one gets past Iliff momentarily, but that's enough to move the runner up to third. Three and 1 count. Shot back on the rubber. Went off speed, found the zone, and we're full. 3-2 count on Staffen. Mayer next. Miller in the hole for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Payoff pitch. Lifted in the air, out towards left center field. Vigiano back underneath it, makes the catch. And she'll hit her cutoff on the way in. Run does score for Mount Vernon Nazarene. A sacrifice fly. Zimmerman scoring her second run of game 2. There is one down. Kira Mayer, senior with a lot of power at her bat, but she was out in front of that and shot. A couple of quick outs recorded here today. So the ones that everybody on the infield likes. Everybody in the dugout loves when you can throw a one pitch, get an out, and keep things moving. 2 away. Miller had an RBI single back in the first. She rips this one through the hole left side. And a second single for Miller on really strong contact there. And now the pitcher, Delaney, tried to help her own cause once again. She also had an RBI single back in the first. 3 runs on 6 hits at the moment for the visiting Cougars. It's a 1-0 count on Delaney. Miller aboard at first. 1-0 pitch. Dugout likes it. It's a ball, 2-0. Shot. Now 2-1. This is low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Delaney. The catcher, Lehman, due up next. Shot with a 3-1 offering. On the ground to second. Baker going to take it to second herself. And that will do it for the top of the third. We head to the bottom of the third inning. Mount Vernon Nazarene gets a run back on 2 hits, but they do leave a runner aboard. No errors defensively from St. Francis. 4 unassisted from Baker for the final out of the third inning. To the bottom of the third we go. 9-1-2 in the batting order, due up for St. Francis when we return to Weston Dorff Field here on the campus of the University of St. Francis in Fort Wayne.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history.
Back for the bottom of the third inning. 9-1-2 in the batting order for St. Francis as Lily Pierce begins things at the dish for the Cougars. Get you caught up on some final scores across the Crossroads League today. Marion defeating Grace in Game 1, 13-2. Spring Arbor over Bethel, Game 1 at Bethel, 2-1. Pierce takes a strike, count evens to 1-1. Huntington on the road at Taylor. Foresters take down Taylor 3-2. So some pretty good games so far, and then we check in Indiana Wesleyan on top of Goshen at home, 13-1. Fly out into right field. As Mickley squeezes on to out number 1. Back to the top of the order for Sam Baker. Ton of games across the NAIA today in terms of softball. Certainly much nicer up in this area, allowing us to play some more games. And we'll talk about the St. Francis schedule coming up as they're trying to fit in a bunch of games next week, hoping the weather will cooperate. 2-0 on Baker. Game 2 underway. Bethel leading Spring Arbor 7-1. Huntington and Taylor are scoreless through 2 innings of their second game. Baker fouled down the third base side. Baker grounded out to short. Back in the first inning. Second time through the order for St. Francis. Baker went to bunt it, pulled it back, and it's 3-1. An upcoming schedule for St. Francis. 2 games tomorrow against Indiana Wesleyan, and then all road games next week. Count goes full to Baker. At Grace on Monday, at Taylor Tuesday, at Bethel Friday, at Huntington on Saturday. 8 road games in 1 week. Weather permitting, of course. Payoff pitch to Baker, lifted third base side, and room on the third base side for Miller to make the catch. 2 down. So Peyton Iliff batting with 2 away. Nobody aboard for St. Francis, bottom of the third. First pitch misses. 1-0 on Iliff, who flew out to left field. strong contact in her last AB, but it was directly at Crump. Delaney 1-0 pitch. Caught the top part of the zone, 1-1 on Iliff. Robakowski next. She's the only one that has scored so far in game 2 at the solo blasts back in the first. Down low to Iliff, 2-1 count. Wind continues to blow out towards right field. Beautiful day in Fort Wayne. It's 2-1 by Iliff as foul back. We've seen the sun peek in and out. There's been a decent breeze. Just perfect weather for March 20th. You never know what you're going to get during this season in the great state of Indiana, but we've been fortunate for some better weather in the winter months, although talk to me earlier this week, I would have said something completely different. Count is run full now on Iliff. Crack 65 degrees and everybody feels a little bit better. Full count. Delaney 3-2 pitch. Iliff just out front of it, sends it foul down the left field line. Payoff pitch part 2. Iliff takes ball 4 and a 2-out walk for St. Francis. Move the baton down and Abby Robakowski steps in. Way up high on that first pitch to Robakowski, 1-0. Fourth home run of the season for Robakowski in the first inning. One-0. Fastball misses. 2 balls and no strikes. Iliff aboard at first. Robakowski, good hitters count here. 2-0. Down, 3 balls and no strikes. May have the green light here on 3-0. We'll see what Delaney fires in. Robakowski taking all the way for a strike, 3-1. 2 games tomorrow with Indiana Wesleyan. 1 and 3 o'clock are your scheduled start times for those games. IWU receiving votes in the latest top 25 poll, which came out on Wednesday. This is in the air out towards right field, drifting back, and just in front of the fence. Mickley makes the catch, and that'll retire the side in the third. We are through 3. It's a 3-1 advantage for Mount Vernon Nazarene over St. Francis here from Westendorf Field. SummitCitySports.com. We'll be back in 1 minute.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Top of the 4th inning. And Haley shot back in the circle once again for St. Francis. 3-1, Mount Vernon Nazarene has the lead. And it's 7, 8, and 9 in the batting order for the Cougars. Lehman leading things off and ahead 2 balls and no strikes. I certainly liked where that last pitch was at. 2-0 is downstairs, and now the count 3 balls and no strikes to the leadoff hitter for Mount Vernon Nazarene in the 4th. 2 runs in the first, another run in the 3rd for the guest Cougars. St. Francis scored its run in the 1st inning. A shot trying to work through some early, we'll call it command issues. That second pitch looked pretty good. Now 3-2, good battle back. Shot, rocks and fires, 3-2 pitch is low, ball 4. And a walk issued to Lehman. Begins the top of the 4th inning. And it brings Mielek to the plate for Mount Vernon Nazarene. The visiting Cougars will have a doubleheader at home against Goshen tomorrow at 1-3. And then they'll play a non-conference game against Cornerstone on Monday. These 2 teams will meet up once again April 14th when St. Francis travels to Mount Vernon Nazarene. Those games will be at 3 and 5. Bunt again. This one pushed foul down the first base side. 0-2. Bailey Sheets, who pitched in game 1, ended up with the loss in that first game despite going more than 5 innings in the circle and pitching really well. 1-2. She's up and throwing for Mount Vernon Nazarene in their bullpen. Shot with a 1-2. On the ground to short. Baker at second for 1. Not in time to first base, but a fielder's choice for the first out of the inning. Serber to Baker. And now it's Crum with 1 away. And a runner aboard at first. Crum 1 for 1 with a single in her first AB. This is on the ground to short again. Serber to Baker for 1, and another fielder's choice. The second out of the inning. Back to the top of the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Just looking for 1 out to get through this 4th inning as Montalvo in the top of the batting order for the 3rd time through today. Shot off speed. Took something off of it. Really good pitch, 0-1. Oh, 1 offering, just stuck the bat head out. This is popped up to second. Baker calling for it. And she was in the midst of every out in that 4th inning for St. Francis. 3.5 complete. Mount Vernon Nazarene holding on to a 3-1 advantage here at West Indoor Field.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead Girls Golf Team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should be covered. Join us and donate today.
3 runs on 6 hits for Mount Vernon Nazarene. 1 run on 2 hits for St. Francis. We begin the bottom of the 4th inning, and Macy Dowd going to have an infield single on a hard hit ball right back at the pitcher, Delaney. Looks like she's all right, which is good to see. And even better to see for St. Francis, some base runners early in an inning, as it's Dowd aboard at first in the third hit of the game for the host Cougars. Maddie Minnick stepping in, and then Bree Miller after that. Minnick, .316 batting average this season, 1 home run, 5 runs driven in prior to today's game. First pitch swinging. This is lifted out to center field. Drifting in, Mielik makes the grab. 1 away. St. Francis looking to attack early, at least so far in this 4th inning. First pitch swinging for Dowd, and Minnick is out there attacking early in the AB as well. Brings up Bree Miller. Sacrifice bunt in the second to push Minnick from second to third, but St. Francis couldn't get the run in. This one bounces in, taken off for second, and thrown out trying to take second base there. 2 down. And a 1-0 count on Bree Miller. Now Miller ahead 2-0. Miller lays off, and now ahead 3 balls and no strikes. Ari Rector was in running there for Dowd. She was the one thrown out trying to take second base. And a 4-pitch walk drawn by Miller. And Haley Schott get to hit for herself once again. Struck out swinging in the second. See if she's a little bit more up in the box for this at-bat. She seemed to be just a touch in front of Delaney's pitches the first time through. This one bounces in, ball 1, so make it 5 consecutive balls thrown by Delaney. A shot stepping in. Runner aboard at first is Miller. 1-0 on the ground, right back to Delaney, and the pitcher will retire the pitcher here. 1-3, and we are 4 innings complete to the top of the 5th. It is 3-1. Mount Vernon leading St. Francis.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Four innings for Haley Schott. She gives up 7 hits, 3 runs in total, and that'll be it for Schott here in the second game. And St. Francis will go back to Olivia Fuentes, who threw a picture-perfect game in relief. The first outing today, top of the 5th. St. Francis took the first game 6-5 in 8 innings. First pitch swinging on the ground, right side through the hole. And a leadoff single for Zimmerman, who was on board for the third time in this game. 2 singles, a double. She scored twice already, and Zimmerman has kind of been the thorn in the side for St. Francis in this second game. First pitch swinging again. This one put into the gap in right center field. Zimmerman coming around third, and she will score. And Mount Vernon Nazarene with 2 hits to start the 5th inning. Staffen with a double, and she'll drive in the run. That makes it 4-1 in favor of Mount Vernon Nazarene. And 3 of the 4 runs scored have come courtesy of Skylar Zimmerman. Fuentes with a first pitch strike to Mayer. Fuentes went 5 innings in the first game in relief, gave up just 3 hits, no runs. Popped up, left side of the infield, Serber calling for it, and she'll make the catch. 1 down. One away for Avery Miller. And we may see a change for Mount Vernon Nazarene on the base paths. And we will. Abigail Sapp, freshman from Danville, Ohio, is in for the first time today, running at second base for Staffen. So Sapp at second. Wind continues to howl out towards right field now, is picked up in terms of overall speed. 1 down. Avery Miller swinging at the first pitch. It's 0-1. And we'll see what Mount Vernon Nazarene does as this game moves towards the bottom of the 5th inning and into the later stages. Just 2 times through the order so far for St. Francis against Delaney. It's now 0-2. This was the 3rd time through the order for Mount Vernon Nazarene against the starter shot. Usually that's when you see teams kind of change up their game plan, go to somebody else. Fuentes, 0-2. Runner in scoring position and a run across in this inning on 2 hits. 1-2, and Fuentes gets the strikeout. 2 down, and that brings the pitcher Delaney up to bat. Delaney with an RBI single in the first. Grounded out to Baker at second in the 3rd. This is lifted out to left field. Should be a routine play for Minnick. It is. And St. Francis will come to bat in the bottom of the 5th inning, trailing by 3 runs. Cougars coming to the plate. It is 8-9-1 in the batting order when we return here on SummitCitySports.com.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
4 runs on 8 hits for Mount Vernon Nazarene. 1 run on 3 hits for St. Francis as we start the bottom of the 5th inning. Courtney Serber, Lillian Pierce, and then back at the top of the order. That's the scheduled lineup for St. Francis in the bottom of the 5th inning. Serber flew out to center field in the 2nd, 0 for 1 here in game 2, and she swings through this one, falls behind 0-2. Dugout continues to stay lively for St. Francis. 0-2 pitch to Serber. Popped out of the glove of Lehman, was outside anyway, 1-2. Serber waiting on Delaney. 1-2 count. Delaney trying to find the grip she wants. 1-2 pitch. This is popped up on the infield, and the pitcher will call for it. And she makes the catch herself for out number 1. Well, St. Francis only scored a run through the first 6 innings of game 1 and ended up forcing extra innings and then getting the win. See how things work out in this second game. 1 away. Lily Pierce back up at the dish, and a first pitch strike 0-1. Pierce flew out to right field in her own one and only at bat today. Now behind 0-2. Little half swing, popped out towards second, and Zimmerman, who's had a really good second game, glides over, makes the catch. 2 down, and back to the top of the order for St. Francis, it's Sam Baker. Westendorf Field here at the University of St. Francis, second game of the doubleheader. Baker lays down a perfect bunt. Just couldn't place it any better there for Sam Baker. Spectacular bunt, and it's a single with 2 away in the 5th, and now we'll see if Baker's on the move. Been really good at stealing bases for the St. Francis Cougars. Peyton Iliff back up, 3rd time through the order against Delaney. Baker thought about taking off. She'll stay put at least for this first pitch, 1-0. Baker on the move, throw down to second, not in time. Sam Baker swipes second base. Did not see if we got a called strike there or not. 2 balls and no strikes on Iliff. Iliff takes a strike to make it 2-1. Two down, bottom of the 5th. Runner in scoring position. Looking for a little 2-out rally from St. Francis. This is popped up and out of play by Iliff. 2s are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Bottom of inning number 5. Two. It's called strike 3, and that will end any potential damage for St. Francis in the bottom of the 5th. So once again, kind of struggling to get the offense moving here for St. Francis. We head to the top of the 6th inning. 4-1 is the lead for Mount Vernon Nazarene.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Top of the sixth inning, 4-1. Mount Vernon Nazarene has the lead on St. Francis in game 2 of our doubleheader today. First game went to extras, and in 8, St. Francis victorious 6-5. So trying to get you caught up on some other games going on in the Crossroads League today. Bottom of the fourth inning, Spring Arbor trailing Bethel 7-1. Huntington leads Taylor 4-2 in the top of the fourth. Trying to keep you updated from any other games in the conference going on here today. Indiana Wesleyan will be here tomorrow for 2 games starting at 1 and 3. Mount Vernon back home tomorrow for a doubleheader against Goshen. 0-1 on the ground to third. Robakowski with a nice glove on to first. 2 pitches to record the first out of the sixth inning as Fuentes continues to look really good in the circle for St. Francis today. Marion and Grace yet to start that second game. Indiana Wesleyan winning in 5 innings over Goshen 14-1. One and 0 count. Mielik in the 8th spot in the order for Mount Vernon. Now 1-1. This is popped up, left side of the infield. Robakowski ends up calling for it. She'll make the catch. 2 down. So 2 quick outs for Fuentes in the top of the sixth inning. And now Crum in the 9 spot. Mount Vernon trying to get back to 500 on the year. 1-6 in true road games this season. 8-4 during their trip to Florida, which included 2 conference games. They split with Marion. It just shows you they've got a ton of really good talent on this team. It's just, this is a tough league to play in consistently. This one flown out to left field, and a quick inning in the circle once again for Fuentes and St. Francis. Just 6 outs remaining, though, offensively for the home Cougars. We'll see if they can get something moving when we return. SummitCitySports.com.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Thank you for watching.
Bottom of the sixth inning, 3, 4, and 5 in the batting order for St. Francis. Robakowski, Dowd, and Minnick are your scheduled hitters here in the sixth. A tie ball game over in college basketball. March Madness going on right now, too. Utah State and Villanova. I'm not sure anybody's got perfect bracket anymore at this point. Really good day for sports all across the board. NAIA's got their round of 16 tournament today as well. Good luck to St. Francis. They've got Dort. 2-0 on Robakowski. Of course, Dort, one of the best teams in NAIA women's basketball over the course of the last really 5 years, as Robakowski hits an absolute missile to left field. Second home run of the game for Abby Robakowski. Her 5th homer of the season. It's another solo shot, and St. Francis draws back within 2 on this solo blast from Robakowski. Exactly what St. Francis was looking for. First pitch swinging 0-1 to Dowd. That Dordt and St. Francis game coming up tomorrow at 3 p.m. St. Francis took down Hastings yesterday, 67-60, so they get another team in the GPAC. It's one of the premier conferences in the middle of the U.S. for NAIA hoops, but Dordt has been the team to beat in NAIA women's basketball the last 3 seasons. Macy Sievers a chance to be the player of the year as this one splits the gap in left center field, and a great start to this 6th inning for St. Francis. It's a double for Dowd, and the game's tying run all of a sudden comes to the plate in the form of Maddie Minnick. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Coach Bolin and company. And we may see a pitching change for Mount Vernon Nazarene. We've got a mound visit. Delaney with 5 innings of really good work in the circle. But time to go somewhere else, it looks like, for Mount Vernon Nazarene. And we may see a new pitcher for the Cougars. They're going through what they're going to do defensively. And we will have a new pitcher into this game as Staffen comes in to try and keep it at a 2-run advantage for Mount Vernon.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our cameras. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Maddie Minnick comes to bat against Dakota Staffen, who's in relief. Not responsible for the runner at second base. First pitch for Staffen of game 2 is up the ladder, ball 1 to Minnick. Delaney, 5+ innings of work, did not record an out here in the 6th. Giving up 2 earned runs up to this point. A bunt down the third base line, placed perfectly. Nowhere to go with it. Another infield hit for St. Francis on a bunt. Maddie Minnick played that perfectly. Puts runners on the corners with nobody down. 4-2 is the score, and Bree Miller coming to bat. Miller with a sacrifice and a walk so far today. Fastball misses up in the zone, ball 1. Wind is continuing to blow towards right field today. If you can get one up in the jet stream towards right center, you got a chance for the wind to really help you out. 2-0 count on Miller. Pitcher spot due up next for St. Francis. Runners at first and third. Miller takes. It's a called strike, 2-1. Staffen. Runner takes off for second. Miller takes a ball. And the game's tying run now stands at second base. (3-1) to Miller. Takes a strike. Count is full now on Bree Miller. Pitcher spot due up next. 3-2. On the ground, foul down that third base line. Count remains full. Nobody out, bottom of the sixth. St. Francis trailed 4-1 entering this sixth inning. Solo home run from Abby Robakowski made it 4-2. A double from Macy Dowd, and then a single from Maddie Minnick on a perfectly placed bunt. 3-2. And Miller got caught up in between. Goes down on strikes for the first out of the sixth. One down, and it's Fuentes, the pitcher, who steps in. First AB today for Fuentes. First pitch swinging, dribbler foul, third base line. Dowd at third, Minnick at second. St. Francis threatening to tie this game in the sixth. Dribbler towards third again. They will go to first, get the out. Runner coming home, and in safely is Dowd. Minnick moves up to third. It's an RBI ground out for Fuentes. And a 4-3 ball game. And now Courtney Serber scheduled to hit, and we will see a pinch hitter for St. Francis. And Coach Bolin talking to his dugout. Big spot. Joanna Gomez will step in. Two down in the sixth. First pitch up and out of play. Game's tying run over at third. Oh, 1. Missed away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pierce would hit next for St. Francis. Staffen 1-1. And it is a called strike to make it 1-2. Big moment in this game. St. Francis with a 2 spot here in the 6th to draw the game back to within 1. Good take. 2-2. It's been come from behind effort. The recipe for success for St. Francis in this one. 2-2. Nearly hit Gomez. It's 3-2. Be the 9 spot Pierce scheduled to hit next. We'll see if it is Pierce if they get there. 3-2. Way up high. Ball 4. Game tying run at third, go-ahead run aboard at first. Another pinch hitter, Becca Patterson, comes up for St. Francis. Patterson, 7th batter of the inning for the host Cougars. And now the coaches for St. Francis going to get together, make sure they're not making a change here that they don't want to, or maybe they're talking about potential base runner in this situation. Trailing by 1 and trying to pull off another comeback win against Mount Vernon Nazarene. 2 away in the 6th. Patterson batting from the left side. Slap approach, takes the first pitch strike, 0-1. Patterson making just her 6th plate appearance of the season. Still looking for her first collegiate hit. Be a big moment to get one. Went to lay it down, pulled it back. They throw back to third base. Runner takes second. It is 0-2 on Patterson, but a single here could give St. Francis the lead. So they've got both runners in scoring position. Oh, 2, Patterson on the ground to third. They get it to first in time. And St. Francis leaves 2 runners aboard in the 6th. We head to the 7th. St. Francis with 2 runs. It's back to a one-run ball game. The Cougars heading out to play defense.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Thank you for watching Summit City Sports. To help broaden our coverage, we're asking you to become a monthly sponsor to our Patreon account. We produce weekly highlights and live video broadcasts. When the Homestead girls golf team won its first state title in program history, we were there. When Fort Wayne brought back 3 state titles in cross country, we were there. We believe in sharing positive stories and setting the standard for how high school sports should become.
We're back for the top of the 7th in a 1-run ball game. Top of the batting order for Mount Vernon Nazarene. It'll be the top of the batting order for St. Francis as well here in the 7th. 1-0 count. Montalvo popped it up on the infield. It's going to be Fuentes coming in. She was the only one who had a real chance at it. Makes the catch. 1 down. Pitcher fielding their position right there. Make all the coaches happy. Coaches at every level be happy to see that out recorded by the pitcher. First pitch, Zimmerman out of play, 0-1. Zimmerman 3 for 3 today. Scored 3 runs for Mount Vernon Nazarene. Two in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the 5th. For the road Cougars. In the battle of the Cougars today. One and 2 on Zimmerman. Fuentes. 1-2 is lifted out towards left field. Minnick is there, right in line to make the catch. 2 down. And now the 3 spot in the order. Staffen, who has come in to pitch in relief. Fuentes' first pitch bounces in. Ball 1. But if you can keep this at a 1-run game, give St. Francis a chance again to walk this one off, potentially in the bottom of the 7th. Three and 0 count. Really the first time we've seen Fuentes fall behind against a batter in relief, and a 3-0 swing on a line to short. Catch is made by Serber, and St. Francis comes to bat in the bottom of the 7th, trailing by 1, needing at least 1 to send us into extras potentially again. 2 runs would get it done as St. Francis looks for the doubleheader sweep. We'll see if they can get it done when we come back for this short break here on SummitCitySports.com.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Top of the order for St. Francis. Bottom of the 7th inning. St. Francis Cougars trail the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene 4-3. It was a one-run difference in Game 1 in 8 innings. Westendorf Field will be back here for 2 more games tomorrow. First pitch to Baker. Missed, ball 1. Baker 1 for 3 here in Game 2. Singled back in the 5th. Always a threat to steal a base once she gets on. On a line to short, right at Montalvo. 1 down. 1 away for Peyton Iliff. Still searching for her first hit of Game 2. Iliff 0 for 2. Drew a walk in the 3rd. Staffen, first pitch. Fastball to Iliff is in for a strike, 0-1. Again, we'll welcome you back here tomorrow for games at 1 and 3 o'clock against Indiana Wesleyan, who is receiving votes in the latest coaches poll. Iliff in the air, out towards center field. Mielek going back, looking up. It is off the fence, stays in play. Iliff with a double on a ball that was inches away from leaving the yard. And now Abby Robakowski represents the game-winning run for St. Francis in Game 2. She has had 2 solo home runs today, and we'll see if Robakowski can be the hero. Fastball, first pitch away, ball 1, and we'll see if Mount Vernon even gives her something to hit here. Robakowski punches it towards right field, into the corner. It's going to get down! Robakowski heading for second, coming around third, trying to score, and in to score is Iliff. Robakowski with a triple, and the game's winning run is 60 feet from scoring. Tough day to be in right field with the way the wind is blowing. You really have no chance on a ball that's drifting away from you because the wind just keeps taking it. And we'll get a pinch runner in for St. Francis, representing the game's winning run. She's got the long sleeve on over the top of her jersey, so I'm not sure who is in running at third, but the game's winning run now 60 feet from scoring. And Macy Dowd 2 for 3 on the day, trying to walk it off. Dowd, first pitch swinging over the center fielder's glove, and St. Francis does it again. The Cougars win both games in walk-off fashion today, and they go from 3-1 in the Crossroads League to 5-1 in the Crossroads League. A sweep of Mount Vernon Nazarene, and St. Francis will host Indiana Wesleyan tomorrow for 2 games, fresh off of 2 one-run victories over Mount Vernon Nazarene. 6-5 in 8 innings and 5-4 in 7. St. Francis with a win over Mount Vernon Nazarene. We're going to take an extended break here. We'll come back, talk with Coach Bolin, wrap things up here for the day, and then we'll be back here tomorrow as well for those 2 games against Indiana Wesleyan. We'll come back here in about 5 minutes with Coach Bolin to wrap things up. SummitCitySports.com.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Well, 2 walk-off wins for St. Francis today, Coach, as Coach Bolin joins us to wrap things up here in this one. A little bit slower starts for your offense today. What'd you see as the game went on that got you guys going offensively in both of them?
Yeah, I don't know. I think we're still slow offensively. It's been there's a lot of gray hair going on today. Just I think we battled at the plate. You know, we had a game plan going into it today. We knew they were going to walk a lot of batters. They don't strike out as many, and so the approach or the game plan we had was, hey, let's see some pitches, let's really work hard at it, and we did that. And then when we got into the 6th and the 7th here, I kind of just pulled it off and said, hey, let's go out there and just bang balls and see where the chips fall. And obviously we hit 2 really big balls there late with Peyton's off the top of the fence and then Robakowski's big knock and then Macy. So we've been really good in those 2, 3, 4. Even Sam in the leadoff spot. Yeah, we can breathe a little bit now. So we'll take them.
Yeah,
we'll take them.
Always good to get 2 wins, no matter how it ends up happening. Olivia Fuentes in relief.
Yeah.
I mean, just 8 solid innings today. What'd you see from her?
Yeah, I mean, once again, a freshman with no fear. She's shown us something every week. And her in the circle, just the way she goes about it, her demeanor, it's really good. And you don't see that usually out of an incoming freshman. You usually see that when they get to their sophomore and junior year, but her poise was really good. She keeps the ball in the zone, and I thought Haley did great to start the game. I mean, other than the 2 runs, right out of the chute, they hit the ball pretty hard. She couldn't command the changeup as well as she normally does, and I think that puts her in a little bit of a bind. But Liv came in and did a great job, man. Super happy with that. And defensively, we were pretty good.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get to, is the defense or just 1 error between the 2 games, I believe, and just a clean sheet overall. What have you liked from your defensive mindset as the season has continued?
Yeah, I mean, I go back to, we have a dual shortstop, right? So Courtney and Howdy do 1 game apiece, and they're both really good at what they do. We switched out a little bit in right field today. We put Lillian in game 2. Bree Miller did a good job at DP today. So we've been able to move some people around. And then, honestly, I like to credit the kids on the bench that maybe are, the unsung hero, right? Joe Guillermez coming in, getting the walk. Becca Patterson putting the ball in play with runners in scoring position, sitting, the majority of the game. So, but defensively, we've been super solid, and we need to continue that because when the hitting does start to go, it's going to be really fun.
And you're going to need it tomorrow against a good Indiana Wesleyan team. What's this next 20-ish hours like for this group as we try the quick turnaround before IWU?
I mean, we got to probably need to get Liv rested. I talked to our trainer about getting her back into just getting some treatment and getting stuff going. The cool part about today, we didn't use Lexu today, so we have a fresh arm for that tomorrow. Ellie Sauter didn't throw a ton today. She didn't have her stuff early. She's really available for tomorrow. Kennedy Bione's ready to go. I mean, so I feel like, you have to have the 20 hours are quick, but you got to have that goldfish mentality, right? So It doesn't matter. Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to bring in a really good Indiana Wesleyan team. They're going to put a lot of pressure on us. Offensively, they're going to pitch it well, so we got to continue to keep working.
All right, Coach, congrats on a pair of wins today, and
Thank
nice to see you get it done, and we'll see you here in less than a day.
Yeah, appreciate you. See you tomorrow.
That's Coach Bolin wrapping things up with us here in this one. St. Francis wins 6-5 in 8 innings in Game 1 and 5-4 in Game 2. As we mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow. Indiana Wesleyan coming to town for a doubleheader starting at 1 o'clock. And hopefully we've got all our technical issues figured out as well. Thanks for sticking with us today. Good luck the rest of the way for Mount Vernon Nazarene. They'll see St. Francis again on April 14th. And the Cougars of Mount Vernon Nazarene are home tomorrow for 2 games against Goshen. So if you're in the area, go check it out. Watch some good softball in the Crossroads League. It's a final and a doubleheader sweep for St. Francis over Mount Vernon Nazarene.
The future is what you make it, so make it matter. At the University of St. Francis, we'll help you build a purposeful life, one based on your interests, goals, and desire to make the world a better place. Learning is personal here. You'll be known by name, supported by experts, and connected to professional opportunities. Our Catholic values will inspire you to use your education for the greater good by serving and leading others. Remember, the future is what you make it. Build a life of meaning and purpose at St. Francis. You belong here.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory